Where? On camera.
I'll tell you what. I went on a programme on a BBC documentary and they cut what I said and pasted it together and made me sound xenophobic. I am not xenophobic. My best friend is Slovakian. I agree with people coming to this country and making a better life for themselves, but coming legally, not illegally, not in mass migration.
Honestly, it's going to twist it. It's very sad. It's very tragic because your job should be to let people know what's happening in the world. The actual fact.
What I hope I do.
No, you don't. The media.
Are you independent?
What do you mean independent?
Are you with BBC?
Are you independent?
No, I work for the BBC.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Fake
You
news.
told me. You see, there you go. He told me you're independent.
He is independent.
He's independent. He misled
So he's
you.
making a living.
Let me just tell you something.
Just selling it to BBC.
This country is in a lot of trouble with the European Union. We have a lot. We've lost our rights. We cannot speak freely. People got followed here. We're supposed to be in a democratic country.
You get my BBC
Okay?
t-shirt.
People
I'll
got
show them what
followed
we
from the
mean.
station.
It's in the
They
back
got
of my
approached
bag.
by police at the station. What kind of country are we living in when people? The EU. Do you not know what the EU is about? Do you have any clue about how it runs? Who runs it? Do you know how to get rid of Schultz or Tusk? Do you know how to get them out of office? Impossible. Now, how is that a democracy? Because in a democracy, you elect people to represent you, right?
Just a t-shirt chucked in at the top. I'm not doing the wrong zip.
Out of office. These people are in there because, and they make decisions on our behalf. How much do you think they care about the British people?
All I was asking was, do you think the fact you're being followed here is related to the EU?
The whole thing, the whole agenda of the cameras, the spying on people, getting people's information,
Guy
Wait, this is the problem. Guy Verhofstadt. And then I know what? They want us to give up sovereignty. Even Merkel talked about us giving up sovereignty.
You don't want to give up your sovereignty, why?
What do you think about giving up sovereignty?
I thought the reason why we voted against it was because everyone wanted to. So that's why we're leaving the EU.
But this government, we voted 2.5 years ago to leave. 2.5 years we voted, and we were promised that the next day he would do Article 50. And what did he do? He walked out, and he left it, and he got a Remainer.
Cameron, don't you know?
He promised it. He promised. Listen to me. Just wait. Let me just finish. He is very.
Thanks for that. Can you give me a better one?
Tom David Cameron deceived us. Okay.
Give me a better
Did
one.
he not say that he would leave? He would do Article 50 the day after. So why is it trying to be overturned now? We're not getting Brexit. Brexit was leave.
And leave hard about that act, right?
It's all attached, okay? Because with Brexit, with the EU comes the dictatorship from the European Union. We don't make our own laws. We have to follow what laws the EU gives us. All the rules and regulations are EU. It doesn't matter whether you're in a small shop or a big shop. You have to comply with some regulations that don't apply to you, and you can't challenge them. Nothing is challengeable. Nobody can change anything. From here, they've tried 55 times. The British government tried to say no to a decision, to a rule. And 55 times they were refused. No, denied. You have your Prime Minister going over there saying, look, can we make a deal? I'm going to be putting this vote to the people. At least let me tell them that I can, limit the numbers coming in. And what did they tell him? Bye. And Theresa May.
I've tried. You tried.
Have you read the Maastricht Treaty, the Lisbon Treaty, the Barcelona Treaty? Do you know the Barcelona Declaration? Do you know the UN Migration Pact? That it is. You are a citizen here.
No, I get that. But we voted to leave. I get that.
No, you say
what
we.
I'm interested in is what this is about now.
In
In a sense, the argument's already been made about the EU.
What about? Why can't you listen? Why don't you take it in? Why are you determined? Why? No justice. There's no justice in the country, right? Everything is, this is what it sounds like a conspiracy theory, right? Everything sounds like a conspiracy theory, unless it's true. But there's no justice. There's a two-tier legal system. It's all, you hide the Islamic attacks. You hide You hide because you call it something else. You say it's somebody with mental health issues, or somebody with this, somebody, you don't want to say the name, you don't like to put the well, no, it is true, it is true. See, now the fact that you...
I've worked in journalism for 20 years, and every time an attack happens of anyone, the first thing you want to know is who did it.
What's the
and so that
first
you
thing?
Go and search it.
No.
You're lying now. You're lying.
You are lying. You're deceiving, and you are absolutely a disgrace to the British people. People pay taxpayer money for the license, and you sit there and you propagandize for the government. That's what you do. It's you know how much I despise the BBC. I am so ashamed. You used to be...
Yeah, you want to go to Boston, Lincolnshire? We have murders every second, third month. And where are they reported in the news? Where
Never.
are they reported anywhere? We even had a gang-style killing where they drilled through someone's knees, drilled through his eyes, beat him up and set him on fire. Was that in the mainstream media? No.
What about the soldier that got run over by a jihadi? You did everything you could to cover that up. He was in the pub, 21-year-old man, soldier, in the pub. He was surrounded by agents because he talked about his tour. The guy, he went outside. When he was outside, one of them got in his car and drove at 50 miles an hour and mowed him down. Okay? What was that called? What was that called? Do you even know about it?
I don't.
There you go.
It may
There
be
you go.
because I haven't
There you
followed
go.
it.
A targeted attack on a soldier, British soldier like Lee Rigby.
Right. Oh,
Okay?
I do know about that.
Well, how could he? Yeah, he got beheaded in the street.
No, because I know about Lee Rigby. I'm talking about the other one. Yes, I do know.
Josh, you don't know about him.
Yes, I do.
So you do know about him. So why do you do what you can to cover it up?
Well, I'm not.
You don't talk about jihad. You don't talk about a political. The police do everything they can to deny the truth.
Can I ask what the
disservice to the British people?
British Broadcasting Caliphate?
It's because of it. Who is in control? Who makes the decisions? Right? Islam. It's a Sharia. We have Sharia law. We have blasphemy law. Right? Hate speech. That's straight from Sharia. That's straight from the Quran. Okay. You are not allowed to criticize Islam. Muslims are not allowed to criticize Islam, but we're not either. Right? What happened to what's his name? Way back by the book. Salman Rushdie. Now he was given a fatwa. He's a British citizen, and the government said, "Excuse me, you don't put a threat on one of our people's lives over a damn book, over a book." Oh yeah, no
The
this.
media supported him.
And what happened? And what he's had to have protection ever since. Sharia is in control. We cannot speak about Islam. The internet. If I mention a Muslim or Islam, I get blocked. It's very sinister. The money is what controls the world. And right now, Islam, Saudi, oil, they're globalists. Okay, do you know about the Walter Holstein? Walter Holstein? If you listen to Angela Merkel when she gave her speech to the European Union, she praised him. He was the first president of the European Union. Do you know who he was? He was a Nazi. He was a legitimate card-carrying Nazi. He put the blueprint together for one state, Germany, Europe.
Angela Merkel was
Praising a Nazi. And do you know what happened? On YouTube, the person translated it first. When you played it back later, they cut out the part, they blocked out the bit where she mentioned his name. The person didn't translate it. You try and listen to it in German, and you'll hear her say, Walter Holstein, 50 years ago, Walter Holstein, she praised him. And it's so sinister. The censorship is so sickening. I'm telling you now that nobody can get a live signal here on their phones. I've had to get a signal from outside the country because of the jamming machines. People think we live in I want to get the truth out. I want to get the truth because the BBC has let down the nation. You used to represent, this country so brilliantly, and it's now turned into one big propaganda machine pro-EU. I mean, look at the state of the country, right?
It's interesting because all the Remainers attack us and say that we're so pro-Leave, we're a disaster. We've
Well,
let
of course
them
they
down.
do. But
So I've always felt that maybe if you get attacked by both sides, it's okay.
Come on. You know, if you listen, there's no way you're objectively pro-Brexit. All you talk about is the sky's going to fall in, the banks are going to collapse, the food. I mean, they did a stupid...
We're just reporting what other people
No, you're not. You don't. You report opinion. You don't report the news. You don't report fact. You report some kind of statistics that somebody's made up because they want to stay in, because the EU is the gravy train. It's an absolute jobs market for the ex-MPs, anybody in business. There's so many jobs over there. Everybody knows it, you know, and it's so sad that the people, all they want is justice. Okay, there's no justice. The people who, the boys, right, who got run over, murdered, slaughtered by jihadi.
Why do you think that man is jihadi? Because he's a Hindu, right?
No, nothing to do with the Hindu. What he did and what he said. And the CCTV shows that he intentionally drove up on the pavement and sped at 70 miles an hour, did not try and move. He ran them down.
Was a Muslim.
And what?
Because
why,
ISIS.
Why do you think that that's? Sorry. Yes,
Sorry.
but
Why do I
we-
think?
I was going to say, why do you think that has not? The police have not prosecuted it?
Do you understand about cover-up? Do you understand?
I do understand
about
cover-up.
politics?
I'm asking you, do you think it's
Do you
a
understand how the police are controlled and told, do not talk about jihad, don't talk about Muslims, don't talk about Islam, because they think there's going to be some kind of crazy uprising? We
We've
just
had
want.
various terrible terrorist attacks last year and the year before.
Yeah. Where was there anything? And what does everybody do?
You always say it's nothing to
hold
do with
hands,
Islam.
and sing, right? And be together. How about shutting down some of the mosques? How about arresting some of the jihadis? I go to Speaker's Corner on a Sunday, and I'm surrounded by people who are probably on the watch list. And you know what the police do? They watch them, but they don't do anything until they do something, and then they get them. And then how many times do we have an attack? And you hear they were on a watch list. What is the point of a bloody watch list? They need to be picked up because
Explain to me what your facts are, why you think that those three boys, it's been covered up what really happened to them. 'Cause I'm
because
interested
the
in that.
truth versus what's being told. The truth is they were sitting. The parents have the CCTV footage of what he was doing before he took the car and drove and intentionally turned around and drove at them at 70 miles an hour. Didn't stop, even if he had a body on the car. He did not stop. Right? The
Why would
police.
a Hindu do that?
It's not a Hindu.
Could he have been
Why
a
do you keep
convert
saying a
to Islam?
Hindu?
I don't know. That's what I'm
I
asking.
don't know. The
Everybody wants
passenger
to
was
call him a
Muslim.
Hindu. Why do you call him a
The
Hindu?
passenger was a
Hindus don't
Muslim.
do that. There's only one ideology, and this is about time the BBC start researching,
All I know
learn
is what
about
I've
Muhammad.
read.
No,
Because the
Hindu,
Quran
that's
says, the
no,
Quran
look,
says,
okay, now this is where you're going here. Listen to me carefully. He was not Hindu. If he was, convert. Islam,
And you believe that or you know that?
I know Islam. I have read the
passenger was
Quran.
Muslim.
I know about Muhammad. I know about ISIS. I know about
You
jihad.
know that man was a Hindu convert. I mean, a Hindu convert
Why are
to
you so
Islam.
fixated on that?
Because you're telling me
Why
about
are you so
it.
fixated? Do you know how many other things? What
Passenger
about
was a
the
Muslim.
policeman who got stabbed to death inside Parliament?
Sorry, I thought we were
The
talking about
gates.
something else.
We're talking about every crime.
Right.
All the crime, the running over, that is always done. Mental health issues.
There were three boys,
The
there
first
were
thing,
two others they hit as well.
yeah, there were two others who were
five
critically
boys in all
injured.
hit.
There were loads of witnesses. He spun around and drove at them.
No, I've heard that. But
Right.
But
what I'm interested in is, I want to get to the bottom of. People have said, I've seen the guy's poor mum talking about it and saying it's a cover-up, and I want to know
And the judicial
what's
system.
happening. Why have you been let down? Why
because of the
did you know,
judicial
Not,
system.
not only because one of them's Twitter, he's got Paradise in Heaven on it, the passenger, who's never been charged. He's been interviewed, right? Never been charged. We're also hearing that they could be police informants as well. That's why it's covered. So both reasons, yeah? Religion and police informants. Protected.
The problem is, when you have the police covering up, right, because they don't want to admit that they're messing up and they're failing. The government doesn't want to admit that it's failing. The security services don't want to admit that they're failing. And the reason why they can't is because their hands are tied, because they're not allowed to prevent these so-called migrants and refugees coming in. Their hands are tied. Our hands are tied because of the European Union dictatorship. And the European Union, I swear to God, look at the Fourth Reich. You need to research. As a BBC, people need you. You do not understand. We're upset because we feel so deserted by the media. The media has such a position of power, of informing people, of educating people, and all that we're getting is a propaganda, this pro-globalist agenda, which is a genuine agenda. It's not. The Bilderbergs exist. You know about the Bilderbergs?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And what do? They meet once a year,
Yeah.
heads of
I
state.
tried to cover it. I have covered
And you
it,
can't.
but-
Well, no, you can't get in.
From the outside,
Right, you
yeah.
can't get in.
Yeah.
You've got bankers, you've got media, you've got heads of state, you've got kings and queens, all meeting in secret to decide what's going to happen next. That's why Merkel's in power. That's why Macron's in power. That's why May's in power. These people have not been elected by the people. They've been positioned in because they're part of the agenda.
Macron worked
it's
for
all
Rothschild.
about the money.
He worked for the Rothschild Bank for
And
2
we're not
years. And he got
stupid. You know,
fast
this is
tracked.
what we know.
No, you're not
You see,
stupid.
we know.
Right,
You
another
know,
thing.
we know you
Right.
know more than you're telling us, and it's your duty to have that. That we don't, you know, you hear about the censorship. We're censored. We cannot speak. YouTube censors video footage. I did
No,
a
they've
thing
got a
on.
D
let me
notice.
just say
They've
that.
got a D notice.
Yeah, you've got a D notice about France. You're not allowed to report on what's really going on in France.
It's the
with all the
ninth
yellow
week today
vests.
that it's going on out there.
I'm not aware of it.
Did you know about the
You're not
explosion?
aware?
What?
The yellow vest
Yeah, we've
protest.
seen the
Give up.
D notice.
I'll give up.
You see, this is
Well, I mean, I can't be
Not
aware
aware
of
of what's
every
going on in
single
France.
thing.
9
Well,
weeks
I
of
am.
rampaging. 9
I
weeks.
seem to be aware.
Right. What will open up the boys' case is an inquest that's been cancelled. They will get everybody in the dock, the police, whatever. It's been cancelled, and it'll go on for years and years. You can't Google justice for our boys. What happened? It's free information. It's been gagged for 20 years. Why do they keep shutting it down? Simple as that.
why
Give them an
did they gag
inquest,
20 years?
and we'll get the truth
All
out.
they
on the
want
case.
is justice. They've lost their children, their precious children. And what? How does that work?
Not just them, the soldier.
Yeah,
And the
soldiers,
soldier,
brilliant.
all the people who've been slaughtered, the Manchester bombing. Okay, they did
22
everything they
children.
could to not say that that guy was an ISIS jihadi who blew himself up. Okay, we know, the people know. That's the problem. The BBC thinks that we don't know, but we do know what's going on. It's all the terrorist attack. It's Islam.
I covered the Manchester bombing. We were desperately trying to find out who did it. We found out who did it. We looked for his links. We saw he was Muslim. We did not report that.
How many crimes have been committed by Muslim jihadis who say Aloha snack bar every time they do something? And I won't say what they actually say because I find it offensive. How many?
You got an answer to how many?
How many? You tell me.
I
How
don't
many?
know.
How many are non-Muslim who do stabbings, running people over with vehicles,
Well, a lot.
blow themselves
Have
up?
you read about all the stabbings and heard about all the stabbings that are going on in France at the moment? They're mainly
Do you know
not
what that is?
Muslims.
It's drugs. Muslims. You know they
Muslim
have
drugs? What?
Muslims are taking over the drugs from.
Looks like we're walking, so
I'm telling you. Listen. I'm begging you. Please look at your conscience. The future is.
Amy, let's go.
And come to our side and just report